Here we go. Let's start some Chazara of the second Perek. Second Perek, Daf Chavches Amid Base. Says the Mishnah Ru'echav. So again, we just finished the Chumas Hadeshen, and the other Kayanim see Sheyarat, that he descends from the Mizbeach holding the shovel full of ashes. So what did all the other Kayanim do? V'heim ratzim, they run, u'ba'im, and they come to the Beis HaMikdash. What do they do when they get there? Maharu, they quickly, v'kitch yedem ragleim in akiyar. They wash their hands and legs from the kiyar. No, luasam agrifos, rice. They take their shovels and forks. V'alu l'rosh ha-mizbeach. They go up to the mizbeach. Evarim u'darim. The fats and the lips on the sachlim yiva'erev. They were not consumed the night before. They remove them and they place them on the sides of the Mizbeach. There's not enough room on the sides. They arrange them on the ledge around the Mizbeach and on the ramp. And they begin to raise up the ashes on top of the tapuach, the essential ash heap. Says the Mishnah, tapuach haya. And if you want to break down the Mishnah, the first part is the Kanim coming, washing their hands and legs, removing the fats and limbs, and then piling up the ash on the Mizbeach. The second part is almost a sidebar, is what's the story with this tapuach. Says the Mishnah, tapuach haya b'emsa Mizbeach. It was the middle of the Mizbeach, core. Sometimes it's 300 core big, and it's during the Shalosh Regalim. They were not cleaning it out. They never were lazy to remove the ashes. So part A of the Mishnah is all about the ashes. And of course, before you remove the ashes, you got to remove the fats and limbs. Part B of the Mishnah is, now we got to arrange the pyre, the wood structures on top of the Mizbeach. Says the Mishnah, they begin to arrange and bring up the wood logs on top of the Maracha, the wood log cabin on top of the Mizbeach. Says the Mishnah, Kol eitzim ksher in the Maracha? Hein, yes. Kol eitzim ksher in the Maracha, chutz, Mishal Kevin, Mishal Zeis. Even though they're all kosher, sorry for Gevin and Zayis, Avol, what do they use? Be'elu hayu regilim. With what? Be'marbiyai shal te'ina, the young branches of the te'ina shall ego shall eat shemen. Part 3 of the Mishnah. Now that we know which wood, how do you arrange the wood? Erev Tov of David. Sidr es hamaracha. They arrange the fire, Gedolah Mizracha, the eastern side. V'chazita, and had a window Mizracha facing east. V'roishe gezirim apenimim, and the ends of the branches on the inside, hayonoigin b'tapuach, in the middle of Chazring, we're in Chavtes and Aleph, would touch the central ash heap. V'reva chaya bin gezirim, there was space between the logs, she'matzitin azalitim misham, that they would feed the fire. Part 3 of the Mishnah is the other areas that they arrange on top of the Mizbeach. Says the Mishnah, Baru Mishamatze Teinim Yafim, the good Teinim wood, Sidr Es Maracha Shnia, they arranged the second fire, the Ketairis, which is for the Ketairis, which was where Keneged Marav is the southwestern corner, but not Mamish in the corner, but rather Moshach Ben Akarin Klabit Safin, drawn away a little bit northward, Arba Amos. Ba'imed, Chamesh Sayin Gacholim, and on Shabbos, how big was it? Ba'imed Shemayin San Gacholim, 8 of coals. Shesham, over there, the second fire, Hayanaistin Mo, they place on the second area, Shnei Baziche Lavaina, 2 spoonfuls of Lavaina, frankincense. What were these spoonfuls of Lavaina brought with? Shalechem Habanim. And now, once we have all the wood arranged, what do? We bring back that's sitting where? On the side of the Mizbeach. That's sitting where? On the ledge around the Mizbeach. That's sitting where? On the ramp? 3 places. Machzir Naisai, they put it back. They see to Mishnei Marachais, Ba'esh, and you light them up with fire. Yardu, they came down, above malicious augustus. So really, this whole Perek, the second Perek is what? Arranging the Mizbeach. The fires on top of the Mizbeach, which wood is kosher, and the arrangement. It began with removing all the excessive fats and limbs. It concluded with putting the fats and limbs back on, and then lighting the fire. In the middle, we discussed which woods should you bring, as well as describing the two fires, the central, larger maracha that touched the central ash heap, and the smaller maracha for the Ketores and the Levina. That is the Mishnah. Says the Gemara, honing in on the detail of what? The tapuach, the central ash heap. Amar Rava, Guzma. Wasn't a 300 core big? That is an exaggeration. Similarly, Hishku is Guzma, the following is a Guzma. Hishku is a Tamid, V'kashal Zav, Amar Rav Guzma. It's also a Guzma. They didn't actually allow the animal to drink from a golden cup, says Rav. It's an exaggeration. Amar Ravami. So says Ravami, where do we find exaggerations? Number one, Dibra Torah Lashon Havai speaks in Lashon Havai exaggeration. Number two, different Nevi'im Lashon Havai. Number three, different Chachamim Lashon Havai. What are the three cases? Number one, Dibra Torah Lashon Havai Dechsevarim Milos B'Zer D'Shayim. That the Meraglim said, and Rav Davi, you're absolutely correct, that even though it's the Meraglim, but the fact that the Torah brings it down, that what? It said that the cities reached all the way to Shamayim. Really? By Shamayim Zal Gedaitoch? Ella Guzma. That must have been an exaggeration. Dibra Chachamim Lashon Havai is what? Hadamaron. That what? Tapuach, which was 300 core big. And Vishk was a Tamid Koshel Zav. Dibra Nevi'im Lashon Havai was what? Chsiv, Cholam, Haaretz, V'chalim, V'chalilim, they all blew their flutes. V'atibokahu Haaretz, L'kailam, and the ground broke open. The ground really broke open. Exaggeration. Amar Rav Yani bar Nachmani Amar Shmuel, B'shleisha Meikayim V'zeh V'cham Lashon Havai. So we just learned Torah, Nevi'im, Chachamim. Says Rav Yana in the name of Shmuel, there were three places that Chazal speak Lashon Havai. Veilu hate tapuach, which we saw in our Mishnah. Gefen upareiches, which we'll see what those are in a moment. But says the Gemara, this is la'afuki, this excludes midirava. Titinam, we learned in a Mishnah, ishkos samik hoshal zav. And Amarav, that was a guzma. Kamash malon, what does Rav Yanai hold? Hani, only these were exaggerations in, but Hasam, the case of the animal was lie. Why? Why is it an exaggeration? Says the Gemara, Ein aniyos b'makom ashiros lemaisa. Even the animals in the Beis Hamikdash drink from golden kelim. Tapuach, 3 lines from the bottom is hadamaron. Gefen, what is the case of Gefen, which is an exaggeration? The Tanya. Gefen zav, the golden grapes that were situated at the entrance to the Beis Hamikdash. Umudla gabi kloin sois. It was hanging over a wooden beam. Anyone who wanted to donate to the Beis Hamikdash, Allah would bring up, turn over to Chavdesim and Beis, oy gargir, oy ashkil, either a cluster of, either a singular grape, golden grape, or a cluster of golden grapes. Maybe they would bring him a teilaba. Amar Rav Lazar Rav Sadik, and here's the exaggeration. Maisa haya v'nimnu alel shaloi shmeyois koyanim. They needed 300 koyanim lefanaisa to clear off these golden grapes for Reicha. So the golden grapes. Well, 300 is a lot, but it's true. It's the same cash you're about to see in a moment. Pareiches was also massive. So yeah.
One guy can take it down.
I mean, 300 is a lot of people. 300 is a lot of people. The example we gave is when you roll over the tarp on Yankee Stadium, what do they got? They got 20 ground screw, 30 ground screw. You know, when they set up the ice on the, you know, the stadiums. Yeah, 300 is a lot of people. 300 is a lot of people. Oh, saying is an exaggeration. It's true.
Why not just say?
You're asking a very good question. That's exactly what the Gemara is pointing out. Is that this is how Chazal speaks sometime. Why? It's a good kasha. This is how they speak. And the final example is Paroiches, the Tanan. 4 lines from the top. Rashba goimer misham shivin askan. Paroiches avya tefach was a tefach thick. Al shivim v'shnayim niman, 72 strands. Now regis al kolima nima. Each and every string was what? Esem arben chutin, 24 strings. Arko was arba'im amo, 40 amos wide. V'rach, 40 is tall. V'rachva eser amo, 20 amos wide. Umishvenim v'shnayim rivoy nasis was made by the young kohanim. Shtayim oista b'chol shanim v'shanim, they made 2 every year. V'shalosh me'az kahanim atfilin isai. Again, and to say that 300 kahanim were needed to taivel it, that is the exact Jerish. Give Aldik. Are they going to have a Ma'ariv by next door? No, if not, we can just go to Rabbi Raidel at 8:26. I think so, after Shkia, right? Mincha, they have Mincha Ma'ariv at Shkia. Shkia is 8:26. Okay, L'chaira will go for 5 more minutes, and at 8:26 more minutes, at 8:23 we'll break, and then we'll whoever wants to, I'm going to go down Ma'ariv. Because I don't know what's going to happen there. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. I heard. Okay, let's continue. We're about 15 lines down. Chavtasam and Beis says the Gemara, they began to bring up the wood logs. Chutz, Mishal Zayis, Mishal Geffen. So, honey, my time, says the Gemara, why are you not allowed to use Zayis and Geffen and Chavra? We have to chazer. I personally am noticing even myself. I gave the shir. I sent out the voice note. I prepared. I tried to learn this numerous times. And even now, as I'm reading it, I'm seeing how you get it clear each and every time. So everyone, over Shabbos, let's try to make the effort to at least read it one time. Let's go. Says the Gemara, my time that you can use Zayis and Geffen. Rababa, Mar Misham de Katri, because it has knots. Ravacha Bar Yaakov Omar. Why? Mishum Yishav Eretz Yisrael. Which at the moment we don't know what it means, but we know the end punchline of the Gemara is going to be because of the fruits that these trees grow. So Meisvei asked the Gemara a lengthy brayso. Says the pasuk in Vayikra Aleitzim Shalish. From here we learn out 18 and Tuchim Liyaseish has to be wood that turns into coals. It burns well. Oh my new, what is that? Tukri Shvod, these branches. To Lokatri that don't have any nuts. Valsli Miktar Mitaychai. Says the brayso. You didn't give us a type of wood. Hey, yes. What's not kosher? Min zayis v'gefen. Aval, even though they're all kosher, be'elu hayragilim. With what? B'marbiyah shal te'ina, shal egoy, shal ishem. Rav Eliezer, Ma'isiv, you know what else they used to use? Av shal mayu, shal alun, shal dekel, shal charav, shal shikma. So says the Gemara, what's the machloikes? If the problem is when it has knots, so then I can understand the machloikes. At what level of knots is a problem? Machloikes, if having knots on the inside and not the outside, outside not the inside, if that's going to be a problem, then it makes sense that they can argue at what level of knots. What's the kasha? Elamand Amar Misham Yishav Eretz Yisrael. Dekel Milesim Misham Yishav Eretz Yisrael. Why would they use the dekel tree? It's messing up Eretz Yisrael. Amar Leis responds to the Gemara, good kasha. But guess what? Why would they use the Teina tree? Elo, what are you going to respond? 4 lines in the bottom. Must be Teina driving the Peri. You must mean we're talking about the Teina that doesn't produce fruits. Says the Gemara, Dekel Nami the Peri. I'll tell you the same thing. Says the Gemara, is there such a possibility? In the white fig tree on the top of Laman of Aleph, that they smoothed it out with ropes made out of the bark, that causes the seeds from the tree to fall out. The kavri, and they were buried in the ground, where the river would overflow, which is a very good area to plant. There's a lot of vitamins. Now, which would grow would only be a strong branch on the top of Lamed Amid Aleph, 3 lines down. and it would not produce fruit. And just three of these branches were so big. The bridge cannot hold them. So there indeed were such types of te'ena trees that did not produce fruit. And we conclude, why do they put the window? Why when they made that log cabin into the leave-in area? My time, the wind blows through it, air fuels the fire. To feed the fire, put little wood chips in. Says the Gemara 1 second, Meisvei. And there was a space between the logs. Why? Said the Mishnah, to feed the fire. So why are you telling me the windows to feed the fire? The spaces are to feed the fire. Amar Lach, they made different places to feed the fire. Either read the Perek or at the very least take this, and at least we have time for Shabbos. Just read through the English. Let's get the Shakla Vitaria B'siyata Dishmaya.